Bruce Gradkowski played in the NFL for 11 years. And he, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, by the way, Browns, Raiders, Bengals, Steelers. He's been around. He is now joining us live. He is Pro Football Focus senior analyst. He does a great job. Okay, a couple things. Trent Dilfer just gave me garbage for this. Ryan Tannehill, explain him. Why is he so good now? Explain Ryan Tannehill to me.
Confidence. And I appreciate the intro, Colin. You know, I tricked him for 11 years. Not sure how I did that, but I think, you know, I look at Tannehill and it's confidence. Mike Vrabel played the game. He understands how to relate to his players. And that offense, I think Smith, offense coordinator, is doing a tremendous job. And you have that beast behind you, just hand him the ball and watch what he does. So, but I think overall with Tannehill, we thought after last year he couldn't replicate this again. But he's playing efficient. He's making plays downfield. But the biggest thing, and same thing, John Gruden gets mad for Derek Carr, use your legs to run for first downs. And Tannehill does that really well. The thing I would like Tannehill to get better at is sometimes the sacks and getting sacked and those fumbles that come with that. But I'll tell you what, that's the main thing is the confidence that Tannehill is playing with right now.
And he's always been a good athlete. He was a wide receiver initially at Texas A&M. Aaron Rodgers has a weird stat. He literally has a losing record in the NFL if he trails at any point in a football game. That makes no sense to me. Derek Carr's got more come-from-behind wins. Matt Ryan does. Matt Stafford does. I think Andy Dalton may. What do you make of Rodgers struggling, getting blown out 19 times in his career? Is he a little bit of a Baylor?
You know, Colin, I'm a huge fan of Rodgers, and I think – you know, we can look at the numbers and see what that is, but I look at this year and how he's playing and how he's played over his career. You know, he's doing a phenomenal job so far this year. 17 big-time throws on the year, 3 turnover-worthy plays, and all his turnover-worthy plays came yesterday. So it was a sloppy game. He was holding the ball longer than he has all season. You could tell he's a little confused out there, and just the rush was getting him. But the Packers didn't do a good job protecting him. Too many miscommunications up front, not strong pickups by the running backs. There's pressure around Rodgers. He was not in the rhythm that we have seen him in the first, 5 weeks of the season, not counting their bye, of course, last week. He was pretty clean during that week. But I don't count him out, but let's see how he responds because he's still playing really well this year.
You played with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton and the Cowboys play in about 6-7 hours from now. I don't think he's Dak, but I think when you give him weapons, this offense looks a lot like the Cincinnati offense the first couple of years he was in the league, where he was a distributor. What does he do well? What do you expect for Dalton and the Cowboys starting tonight, him as the starter?
I agree with you, Colin. He's not Dak. I mean, Dak is more athletic and can make plays with his feet more, but hey, give Andy credit. He can still extend plays. And you think back in 2015, Andy Dalton's best year, he had the number 2 receiving core by our PFF data. And now he has the number 3 receiving core by our PFF data. And since he had Mohamed Sanu, A.J. Green, Marvin Jones, and now look at the weapons he has. So if things are right around him, Andy Dalton can execute this offense just as well, if not better. He's going to get the ball out of his hands quick and on time. He can anticipate. That will help this depleted offensive line. So, man, I think the Cowboys right now are the best team in that division. So I'm excited to watch how Andy performs.
Pro Football Focus senior analyst, 11 years in the NFL, Bruce Gradkowski. Your numbers come out on Monday. So you look at Lamar Jackson, it's not the same. It just doesn't, it's not quite as dynamic. Are the PFF grades for the Ravens offensive line as good? What are the grades for the wide receiving? Lamar's not growing like he did the leap he took year 1 to year 2. What is it? What is happening beyond Lamar for the struggles?
Well, if you talk about him hitting his ceiling, man, and already having an MVP under his belt is pretty sweet. But it is, like you pointed out, it's everything around him. Lamar Jackson continues to have to do his job. Every week I see him throwing amazing big-time throws, making plays with his legs. It's not always perfect. He's a young quarterback, and sometimes with young quarterbacks, you tend to see too much. How can you shrink that and play more decisive and more in rhythm and on time and get through your progressions and let those big-time plays come to you? I think Lamar Jackson is phenomenal, not just on the field, but I'm more impressed off the field how he is is a leader in that locker room, in that huddle. So I think the guys around him have to step up as well. I think Baltimore, they do a great job blitzing and put pressure on the quarterback and everything like that. But it is a team game, and I expect the Ravens to continue to improve. This is still a tough team.
So Pittsburgh and Baltimore have the top-rated defenses in the NFL. Aaron was unraveled yesterday. Baker was unraveled yesterday. When you look at all your PFF grades around the NFL, this is the time of the year, Bruce, where defense elevates, the weather gets worse, offenses come down. I'm watching the Steelers and the Bucs yesterday really take quarterbacks apart. Quarterbacks are lost. Is this kind of what we'll expect going forward from the league?
Well, I think it kind of has evened out a little bit right now. I think offenses have exploded on the scenes. But right now, what I was just talking about with young quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield, for instance, against that Steeler defense, all you have to do is mix up coverages a little bit. He gets fooled by the one robber. Minka Fitzpatrick comes down, a pick six. Maybe take your one-on-one up top to Jarvis Landry, or your outside slant to OBJ. And this is what I'm talking about, young quarterbacks seeing too much. Just do what you're coached to do. And I think that's a big time for Stefanski now to step up his game. It's going to be like Kyle Shanahan in San Fran, what McVay does with the Rams. You have to call the right plays for your quarterback and make it easier on him. Baker Mayfield, if you call play and he knows where he's going and he has to throw that comeback, he will rip that comeback. But if you have to expect him to read defenses and inverts and what the coverage is after post snap and things like that, try to simplify it. Give him progressions. He can play more decisive and fast. And that's more important than almost playing right, Colin, is play decisive. Trust yourself. Same thing we're talking about with the confidence with Ryan Tannehill. It's playing with that confidence. Same confidence Aaron Rodgers had the first few weeks of the season, and you didn't see him playing with that yesterday.
Just 45 seconds. What do you make of Garoppolo? Do you like him, or is he too controlled?
I like Garoppolo, but that's a good point, Colin, being too controlled. When I was a rookie, John Gruden, you feel like you're playing on eggshells. You can't make mistakes. I think Kyle Shanahan does a great job with that offense, setting them up with the jet sweeps, the misdirections. Debo Samuel, what a beast he is. But Garoppolo still needs to improve, make the plays that are there, and don't force the ball. Too many turnover-worthy plays when I get through grading Garoppolo.
Yeah, too many turnover-worthy plays. The judgment's always been a thing with Jimmy G. Bruce G. Bruce Gradkowski, good talking to you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks, brother. You too.
It was interesting last night because Shanahan and Garoppolo are 4-0 now against the Rams. So they've got their number, and they are physical. And when they're running downhill, and that zone reads run is really tough to stop. And so, it's they're both good coaches. They're pretty good quarterbacks. And then you watch the game, and the Rams just don't have it at all. And Garoppolo's totally controlled. But, they're not asking him to do much. What they ask him to do, I just wonder if they're leaving way too much on the table, because I really think the Niners have spectacularly talented perimeter threats. Rec Tech, more than a grill, it's a lifestyle built by grillers for grillers. Check it out, Smart Grill Technology, RECTEQ.com, Rec Tech.